Thank you.
Please welcome the founder and CEO of Local Measure, Jonathan Baruch.
Hi, I'm Jonathan Baruch. I'm the CEO and founder of Local Measure. We are a local customer intelligence platform. I'm going to start by telling a story about a little boy called William Peach and his rabbit, Rabby the rabbit. William was vacationing with his parents at a Novotel, which is part of Accor in the northern part of Australia. And to his mother's horror, as they were checking out, she realised that Rabby the rabbit was left in the sheets and was on their way to the laundromat. As all good mothers do, they share this on Facebook, and our algorithms detected the word missing in her post and routed it to the right hotel out of 3,700 Accor hotels so that it got to the housekeeping team before they left the hotel. They then gave the rabbit a really wonderful holiday. And this is sort of hospitality 101, right? Making our guests feel special. They shared it back on Facebook and it was shared 10,000 times and hit the press the next day. And the mother obviously said to all her friends, "You've been phenomenal." I tell this story because this is what the face of loyalty looks like. This is how you defend yourselves from the competitive forces in our industry. It's about delivering live, personalised customer experience. And that's really hard to do for hospitality businesses. So I hear you thinking, well, what's one rabbit going to do for a hotel group the size of Accor with 3,700 hotels? But if you start to think across a network of their size, how many opportunities there are to surprise and delight a guest, to fix a problem before the guest leaves so it never even makes its way to TripAdvisor, to give that traveller that special feeling when they're in a hotel, because it's not about points anymore. All of you guys offer points. How do we change the way our frontline teams deliver better service? In our view, we've been obsessed with personalization. We've been obsessed with beacons. We've been obsessed with all these kinds of technologies that we've been speaking at Phocuswright for years. But the blind spot has been the during stay guest experience. We're not doing very much for our frontline teams to recognize Mr. Baruch when they walk through the door and understand who I am as a customer. And that's the problem, it's a blind spot. So all of your loyalty programs and the points are only going to be as good as the experience you deliver from the moment a guest arrives until the moment they leave. And that's very hard to do, to know where your guests are and when they're in your property. So we think we've nailed it. We've built a company that aggregates all of the public feedback from a physical hotel or a physical theme park by picking up on existing behaviour, by picking up on Instagram posts, on Twitter posts, on all of the feedback that your guests are leaving. We drop a geofence over the asset and we can capture anything that's shared in the public domain. So while our competitors are looking for brands and trying to figure out which of the 3,700 hotels that happened at, we know specifically which hotel, and our algorithms and our AI can route it to the right person at the front line who can solve the problem. And that's important because 80% of all customer feedback doesn't actually mention the name of the brand. Let's see what this looks like in the real world. A guest is feeling sick when she's traveling. We all know what that's like. The Grand Hyatt in Singapore spot that on our platform, deliver some tea and honey. She's got 1.5 million followers. All of her followers see this. 5 months later when she rebooks, where does she rebook? Of course she rebooks at the hotel that looked after her 5 months ago. Let's look at a different example on the negative side. In Thailand, I'm not going to tell you the name of this hotel, but they delivered the breakfast with a crunch. It wasn't a snap, crackle and pop, it was a cockroach. This was routed to the general manager at the right hotel, who went over and met the guest and apologised, saw there was an issue back of house, and fixed it. This never made its way to TripAdvisor. So what does this do for a brand when you can deflect that kind of negative feedback in real time? What does this mean for my bottom line? Well, we've done a study and we looked at the behaviours of about 50,000 customers, and we looked at our clients who were engaging with those customers during stay, and then we looked at their subsequent behaviour. They were 40% more likely to return to the brand or to that particular hotel. So in terms of our fees, that was about a 5x ROI. So to summarise, in the short term, we're increasing NPS. We're helping you detect influential customers. We're helping you detect loyal customers. But over the long term, there's this really incredible data opportunity because we're engaging with our customers, we're learning more about them, we're solving their problems. So I'll take you back to the young boy, William, and you think about his mother, Pepper. We now know a lot about her. So the next time we see her in the Accor network, let's have a little bed ready for the little rabbit because we know that she's travelling with her kids. We've proven this is successful. We've got tourism and hotel clients in 230 cities. We've got a monthly SaaS model. 4 of the world's largest hotel groups already use our software. Partnerships with the likes of Cisco and Instagram and Facebook. And we estimate a $5 billion market opportunity in the tourism and leisure space. Strong management team, offices in Singapore, Europe, the US and Australia, who've scaled technology businesses before. A very strong advisory board with people from Google and Salesforce, SANS, SAP, DNA around technology and travel. So let's just summarize. Multi-billion-dollar addressable market to help hotels and tourism businesses connect with their guests in real time to grow that direct channel. We've got strong global traction and our own NPS scores are very high. An entrepreneurial culture with a strong leadership team who've done this before. Proprietary market-leading IP, we've built a workflow behind this technology and artificial intelligence that actually helps non-tech savvy frontline team members deliver on this kind of experience at scale. And finally, a scalable operating model. We can turn this on globally for any hotel in real time. We've got really attractive financial margins. I'm Jonathan Bruce, I'm the CEO and founder of Local Measure, and if you're not one of our clients already, I'll be around the next few days and would love to speak to you and show you what you're missing from your customer experience.
Thank you very much, Jonathan, for the Dragons.
I love it.
Yeah, me too.
I love it.
That was awesome.
Good to see a fellow Aussie up there, Jonathan.
Did you understand me? I was going to do my best
did, it was
Russell
fantastic.
Crowe impersonation.
Look, I think the product's really interesting. It's a really nice one. I'm not so sure about the $5 billion actually being a realistic figure. What about your unit economics? You know, there's a lot of SaaS businesses these days, and they get to a certain size, but you've got to be able to then scale that up in an economic way. Can you do that, or is it a matter that you just get these big chains on and then that's it? Or
Well, look, we've got 4 of the world's biggest chains already. So for us, we've got percentages of the network, and we're going to continue to grow. We've got MSAs.
how much? So one of those chains, how much revenue does that bring in a year?
Yeah. So look, each hotel could pay us like $500 US a month.
Okay.
So at the size of some of the brands that I've mentioned, you can figure out the math. The $5 billion market size was what we thought was addressable from theme parks, from shopping malls, from museums, from hotel chains. We're pretty conservative. We looked at mid-scale up to luxury, which is our real sweet spot. And some of the world's biggest hotels already use us. I mean, I was at the Beverly Hills Hotel over the weekend. In 2 days, we had 100 team members of that property executing in real time.
Yep.
They welcomed me by name when I walked in the door because they saw my social post. I can't tell you the feeling that
And it doesn't freak people out that you...
Well, it's public, right? I was on the carpet taking a selfie as I was walking in. I'm shouting to the world saying, look, I'm here.
Okay.
By the time I got to my room, they had pajamas waiting for my little boys because they'd seen that I'd shared that before. I mean, that's a money can't buy experience.
So when a hotel turns on the service, what actually happens?
So we've got an account management team who help hotels in 5 languages on 5 continents in the world.
No, but what happens when they turn on? What does your system start doing?
That's our IP. We've got workflows, we've got notifications. Most of the frontline teams will use our mobile apps.
What is your system doing?
We're sending, has just arrived, here's a little bit about him.
How do you know to send them that alert?
Because we've got a rules-based system that knows which hotel Mr. Baruch has arrived at, and it sends a little bio based on my public data. And so it says, hey, he's here now, he's on the red carpet, he's been here 3 months ago, last time you served him a daiquiri, why not try that again? So it's not just the technology, it's the fact that we can implement it at scale very, very fast.
But you're watching travelers' social media posts.
When they're on property, correct.
And,
So-
geofencing.
And we're geofencing the property so we can actually see them when they're sharing something publicly, knowingly, willingly in the public domain, and we get it to the right person. In that case, it was the
How many
Bellman.
sites do you
We have
search?
over 100 hotel groups using our software.
How many social media sites do you search?
Good question. We're official partner of Instagram and Facebook. We pull in from Twitter, Foursquare, and Weibo for Chinese tourists as well. So we've got pretty good coverage, both on the positive side to surprise and delight, and on the negative side when things go wrong to make sure we recover from the service before they actually leave the hotel. So this is critical. If you're a tourist operator and you're letting that cockroach go onto the public domain, I'm never booking at that hotel again.
Yeah.
I'm not telling you which one it is, because you guys aren't going to book there either. But if you can get to it...
I already stayed there.
Did you?
No.
You didn't have the bread. It wasn't you, Philip.
I think it's terrific. I often have complaints, but I work for a travel agency, so I'm never going to call out a supplier, right? Because they're partners of ours. So I'm always going to kind of be discreet. And I think there's this new trend of what they call vague booking, where people just bitch, right? But they aren't specific about what their problem is. And so I think this is great.
We find the right person at the right hotel,
Yeah.
so that your customers don't have a bad experience next time.
Right. Yeah.
Thanks very
Love it.
much.
Thank you very much,
Thanks.
Jonathan.